Hello.
Hello?
Did we start
Give me
yet?
1 moment.
Okay, thanks.
Per the State of California Executive Order N2920, this meeting is being held telephonically. All public comments were received either by email or via voicemail, as noted within the agenda. Council, please mute your microphones until called upon for comment or vote. Mayor Pro Tem Smith, I am now passing the mic over to you.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Wiggins? Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Here.
Councilmember Davies?
Here.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Here.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Here.
City Treasurer Scholler?
Here.
City Clerk Marsh? Mayor Wiggins is absent, as well as City Clerk Marsh. Otherwise, all other elected officials are present telephonically.
Thank you. Pastor Kevin Cottle from Christian Life Assembly will now offer our invocation.
Sorry. Heavenly Father, we just take a moment to say thank you for our country, for our elected officials. We do pray for our current situation with COVID-19 and those who are hurting and suffering and those who are making decisions regarding our welfare, that you would give them your wisdom in making those decisions. And we do pray for this meeting tonight that, again, you would give your wisdom to those elected officials making decisions. And as always, we're incredibly thankful to be a part of a community like Tehachapi, a state like California, and a nation like the United States. So thanks for an opportunity to be together. And we ask it in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Cottle. If everyone would join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the City Council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the City Council concerning the item before action is taken. Were there any public comments regarding consent agenda items that should be removed?
There were 0 comments received by voicemail and 0 by email.
Thank you. Are there any consent agenda items the council would like to be removed? Councilmember Davies?
No, sir.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
No, Mr. Smith, thanks.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No, thank you.
Thank you all. All right. Then we will, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
This is
I so
Councilmember
move.
Davies.
Oh,
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the agenda as written.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Pogencourt.
Motion by Councilmember Davies, second by Councilmember Pogencourt. We will now take a roll call vote. Ashley?
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
It was a 4-0 vote for approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Were there any, is there any audience written, oral or written communications for the State of California Executive Order N-29-20? Do we have any public comments?
We do have one comment via email. The email is as follows. Madam Mayor and Honorable City Council members, Will the City Council please consider adopting and circulating a slogan such as Tehachapi Together to present a unified front in leading our city in service of reminding all of us, no matter our personal opinions during these trying times, if we stand together, even while honoring our differences, we can remain a community who cherish living, working, and playing with each other. Thank you, Tammy Engel. There were no other comments received.
All right. That topic for consideration could be put on the next agenda, or how would the council like to handle that, or Greg?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith, thank you. It's a good idea. We have lots of good ideas, like the Hope Lives Here, Tehachapi Strong, and others. I'm not sure exactly what we could do or should do as it relates to this particular suggestion. I think that public citizens already continue to stand together and work together, and I'm not sure it's something that we could or should push, other than to say, all of these ideas, and we fielded a lot of them, quite frankly. They're all good, and these are trying times for sure. We want to make sure that everybody continues to work together. So I'm not sure there's any action that would be required from the council this evening.
All right, thank you. I don't know if you'd like to post it on our website or something like that as a note or a comment from a citizen.
We don't currently post any comments from citizens via this process that we're under now with the telephonic meeting. But certainly it's something we could consider.
All right. For now then, were there any other comments, Ashley, written or?
No, that was the only comment received.
All right. Thank you. Next item is item number 5, disbursements and bills and claims for RSI Petroleum.
Mr. Smith, I need to recuse myself because I'm an employee of RSI Petroleum.
All right. Let the record show that Councilmember Davies has recused himself from discussion on item number 5. Is there any discussion from the public?
There were 0 comments received by voicemail and 0 by email.
All right. I will ask, are there any comments via roll call by council members?
Councilmember Pogencourt?
None, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No, thanks.
Mayor Pro Tem?
And I also have no comments. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the disbursements and bills as presented. Roll call vote, please.
Do we have a motion?
I'm
sorry.
moved.
Is there a motion? Go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
Cord.
All right.
And do we have a second?
We have a motion by Councilmember Pogencourt and a second by Councilmember Scrivener. And now we'll have a roll call vote. Thank you.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
It is a 3-0 vote to approve the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum with a recusal from Councilmember Davies.
Thank you. We'll see if Councilmember Davies can return to the meeting.
Yes, sir, I'm back on.
Thank you. All right, item number 9 is the State Transit Assistant State of Good Repair Program. Our Development Services Director will now give the report.
Very good. Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and council members, this is Jay Schlosser, the Development Services Director. The first item I have for you tonight is the State Transit Assistant State of Good Repair Program. You guys have seen this acronym before, although I would understand if you don't remember. As part of SB 1, Senate Bill 1, probably best known as being the gas tax, adopted in 2017, There are a number of programs the state of California has created to parse the money received in these various tax schemes into different categories for use by local agencies. One of them is the State of Good Repair for State Transit Assistance, and so this is an allocation fund every year into this program, and the Kern Council of Governments has selected to route this money to the local agencies here in Kern County in two different ways. In a single year, you get a small apportionment, and you get about 50% of the money is spent in small apportionment, and then in the odd years, the remaining 50% is given to half of the cities. So it bounces back and forth. I probably didn't explain that very well, but in short, in off years, we get about $15,000 to spend on transit, and in on years, we get about $130,000 for transit. And there are a couple of different options for how to spend that money. We are up for the $130,000 round this time, as you'll see in the staff report. The exact number is $136,043.40. The last round, and the reason you might remember the acronym, we routed this much smaller amount of money that we received to our ongoing ATP Rail Corridor Pedestrian Safety Project, which could use the extra funding. And likewise, since we're still in progress with that project, we have confirmed with KernCog staff that we could do that again, which would help alleviate funds on that project. We had to draw in city funds to complete that project through the RDA, and so we can displace some of those city funds by utilizing this money to that purpose. Because this funding source is very limited to transit-related activities only, staff does not feel like there's an alternate project for that amount of money, again, that is related to transit that is a logical selection. And so be happy to talk to you about other ideas that we had, but we didn't have too many because we don't provide transit service. Instead, we contract with Kern County for that purpose. And so typically in years past, this kind of money we just give to Kern County to let them expand their services and benefit us the way they've been a good partner of ours in doing that. But with this amount of money, it's valuable in this ATP Rail Corridor project. And so our recommendation is that you adopt a resolution of the City Council, the City of Tehachapi, adopting a proposed project list for the California State of Good Repair Program fiscal year 2020-21. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jay. Do we have any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by voicemail and 0 by email.
All right. I will now ask for council comments via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
I have no comment. Thank you.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
None, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes, Jay, are we allowed to reimburse the funds that we've utilized from the RDA?
It's more like we haven't spent it yet, so we won't spend it. So that project is midway through. Bills for projects of that nature always lag by a month or two, so we still have a sizable amount of the money that we had set aside for this project as yet unspent. So by substituting this, my staff will seek compensation as soon as this process is completed and KernCog processes the paperwork. We'll seek reimbursement through this program for expenses, and by that very nature, once we finish paying for the project, we will, have saved some money out of the RDA. So I hope that explains that.
Very good. Thank you, Jay. All right. I will now entertain a motion to adopt a resolution adopting a proposed project list for the California State of Good Repair Program for fiscal year 2020-2021.
I move that we adopt the resolution as presented.
I'll second. Pogencourt.
All right. We have a motion by Councilmember Scrivener and a second by Councilmember Pogencourt. I will now take a roll call vote.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
It was a 4-0 vote to adopt a resolution adopting a proposed project list for the California State of Good Repair Program for fiscal year 2020 through 2021.
Okay, thank you. Item number 10, memorandum of understanding with Kern Council of Governments for a local road safety plan. Our Development Services Director again will now give the report.
Good. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. The second item I have for you tonight is, as you stated, the Memorandum of Understanding with Kern Council of Government, or KernCog, for a local road safety plan. So as a way of background, I'll throw some more acronyms at you. One of the state's funding programs for roadway improvements is the Highway Safety Infrastructure Program, or HSIP, or HSIP as we call it. The City of Tehachapi has successfully received a handful of HSIP grants over the years. The best example I can give is the additional traffic signals and widening that was done out by Loves and Pilot a few years ago was an HSIP project. We also have a small pedestrian improvement project that we'll be out to bid on a little later this year that's also with that funding. Caltrans announced about a year ago or so that future HSIP grant funds will be predicated on each municipality having what's known as a local road safety plan, which is basically just an overview plan of any identified safety issues that the city sees in the city. And so at first, we had a lot of work going, and since we don't get a lot of HSIP funds typically, it was a lower priority for us. And as it turns out, many other cities in Kern County were feeling the same way about it. The state of California came through and offered funds for the development of these LRSPs, or local road safety plans, and still couldn't get many municipalities across the state to jump on them because of workload issues and because of the reality that HSIP funds are typically small and kind of it's a good example of a grant program where the paperwork is relatively large for the amount of money that most agencies get, ourselves included. And so a lot of agencies just set it aside. And then it was determined KernCog, of which Mayor Pro Tem Smith has been a very active member of the KernCog board for a lot of years, so he might be able to speak to this as well. They came forward and suggested that perhaps they would lead an effort to hire a single consultant. Caltrans basically called them and said, we want to spend this money, we want these plans to get done. And so KernCog offered to hire a single consultant to handle 7 or 8 cities here in the county and develop individual LRSPs for each city, but with one consultant managed by Kern Council of Government. So with that concept in mind, city staff, realizing that the workload for us would be significantly less, felt like this was an advisable procedure. So effectively what would happen is we would be applying for $40,000 in state funds that are available for the generation of the safety plan, and this MOU governs us basically giving that money over to KernCog for the hiring and use of this consultant. And so that's, in short, what the memorandum is for. It has been reviewed by the city attorney, and so my recommendation is that you approve the memorandum of understanding between the city of Tehachapi and the Kern Council of Governments for the production of a local road safety plan. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jay. Do we have any public comment on this item?
There were 0 comments received by voicemail and 0 by email.
Okay, I'll now ask for council comment via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
I have no comments.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
I have none except for the 58 climbing lanes needs to be included in this project. Mr. Smith, there you go.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
I always echo something like Councilmember Pogencourt's comments. I'm not sure it applies at this point, but I have no other comments at this time. So at this point, I will entertain a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Tehachapi and the Kern Council of Governments for the production of a local road safety plan.
I'll make that motion as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Scrivener, a second by Councilmember Pogan Cord. We'll now take a roll call vote.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Posencord?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
It was a 4-0 vote to approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Tehachapi and Kern Council of Governments for the production of a local road safety plan.
Thank you. Item 11, West Park Frontage Improvement Project Award Bid. Our Development Director, Services Director will now give the report.
And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Smith and council members. The third item I have for you tonight is the award of a construction project known as the West Park Frontage Improvement Project. Starting back in about mid-2019, we were awarded a Transportation Development Act grant. This is funding that also flows through the Kern Council of Government. One of those little funding sources. It's not usually a lot of money, but it's one that we really like to get if we can get them because it doesn't come with very many strings attached. It's exclusively for pedestrian and bicycle related projects. We applied for a grant to construct sidewalk and drive approaches along West Park on D Street. So something that I think a lot of members of our community utilize on a regular basis. That little stretch of road there in front of the park is in need of some improvement and the addition of sidewalks. So we felt like it was a great little project. So we've been working on that, and in July of this year, last month, we advertised for the projects and opened bids on August 11th, just last week. The results are included there in the staff report. We had an excellent turnout, and the low bid was provided by DoD Construction, who is here in town now working on the railroad ATP project, which advantages them. I can only presume. They didn't tell me this, but I can presume it advantages them because they're already mobilized here and doing similar work. Anyway, we did do a responsiveness review as required by the Public Contract Code, and we confirmed that the apparent low bid provided by DoD Construction is responsive and responsible. I do need to point out to you all that we did have one bid irregularity. We received an improperly labeled intended bid package that was delivered to City Hall and not to City Hall Annex and was processed as normal mail. Because it was not properly labeled, it is technically not a bid. It is inherently invalidated as a result of not having the proper notification on the package. And so the bid was not acknowledged due to its non-compliance with the bid specifications. The fiscal impact for the project was funded with no match requirement up to $290,000, and so you can see that our budget was significantly higher than our bid amount from DoD. Combined with the expected and soft costs for the project and already expended costs, we believe we'll be able to deliver the project for $263,000. As such, the project is fully funded. Therefore, I happily request and recommend that you all award the base bid and bid alternatives 1, 2, and 3 of the West Park Frontage Project to DoD Construction in the amount of $189,136, and authorize the city manager to approve any necessary change orders up to a maximum of 10% of the original contract or $18,500. As such, the project is fully funded. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jay. Do we have any public comment on this item?
We do have one email. The email is as follows. Good evening. This is Corey Torres, District Manager for Tehachapi Valley Recreation and Park District. On behalf of the district, I want to express my appreciation to Greg and his staff for continuously looking at ways of improving our city. This project in particular directly impacts our park. I'm very grateful and excited for this project. It will bring a great improvement to West Park. Thank you to the council for your time and consideration. There were no other comments received.
All right, I'll now ask for council comments via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
No, I think it's going to be a great, keep kids out of the street when they're riding their bikes and all their little, skateboards and stuff. I see a lot of people out there, and then they go on the street and all the cars are parked there during different sporting events. So it's kind of I think it's going to be a safety. I appreciate it because it's more of a safety thing than anything for me. That's all I
Councilmember
have.
Pokencourt?
I agree with Councilman Davies, and also it'll clean that area up and make it look a little bit more user-friendly, I believe, so. Anyway, I'm
Councilmember
all for
Scrivener?
it.
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
I think it's a great project, as stated earlier, and so at this point, no more comments. We'll take a vote. Let's see, I will now entertain a motion to award the base bid and bid alternates 1, 2, and 3 for the West Park frontage project to DOD Construction in the amount of $189,136, and authorize the city manager to approve any necessary changes, any change orders up to the maximum 10% of the original contract or $18,500. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
And I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Councilmember Pokencourt and a second by Councilmember Davies. And we'll have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pokencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
It was a 4-0 vote to award the base bid and bid alternates 1, 2, and 3 of the West Park frontage project to DOD Construction in the amount of $189,136, and authorize the city manager to approve any necessary change orders up to a maximum of 10% of the original contract, or $18,500.
Thank you. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Smith. In the spirit of Tammy Engel's Tehachapi Together saying, we have yet another event that we're dealing with. So we had PSPS last fall. We've been dealing with the COVID pandemic for the last couple months, and now we have brownouts, power brownouts. So Southern California Edison provides power to the city of Tehachapi and the Tehachapi community, and the state of California has a lack of power, basically, enough power to go around. So they've asked us to conserve. Some cities like McFarland, California City, and Ridgecrest are actually on the short list to have their power turned off for an hour or more during the day. Tehachapi's on that list, but we're down that list, fortunately, at this point. I want to make sure the City Council and the citizens know that the City of Tehachapi is prepared. In case we do have a brownout, we will continue to provide all of the services that we currently do now: fresh water, pumping and storage, wastewater treatment, dispatch and police services, City Hall, so on and so forth. So we are prepared, and we will continue to manage the city well as a team. Thank you very much.
Any questions or comments from the council for Greg on his report? Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
I just had one item. I'll bring that up later. All right, council member reports. Councilmember Davies?
I have nothing, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Councilmember Pokencourt?
I've just noticed some progress on the corridor project, and it's looking much better than it did. It's looking finished instead of half finished. It looks great, so keep up the good work.
Councilmember Scrivener?
I will just also agree that I think it's nice to get positive input from our constituents regarding just continuing to foster and cultivate a culture of togetherness and unity in an environment where we are definitely seeing a lot of division. I will definitely second Tehachapi Together as a wonderful sentiment that we should rally around, and all of these phrases, like our mayor's, hope lives here. Again, just think we have a lot to preserve and support in our community, and so it's always welcome to see our constituents respond with ideas and thoughts and sentiments that we can all come together on.
I agree. My comment would be, I agree with all of those. And Greg, it wouldn't be a bad idea if we could just respond to her comments, just thanking her and saying that we agree totally with those comments. So I don't have any further comments.
So Mayor Pro Tem Smith, as I sit here, I've already been working on potentially getting Tehachapi together out on our social media so that we can, continue to push out positive, working together. We are one. Hope lives here. All of those things. Tehachapi strong, because it does matter, and we are one. So we're working on that already.
Thank you. That was the venue I was going to suggest instead of our website. So if we could do it at some point, that would be great. So at this point, then, we will now adjourn to closed session. And if you have questions regarding the outcome of closed session, please contact Ashley Whitmore tomorrow at 661-822-2200, extension 101.
Council members, if you will remain on mute until